Culture of Reading, Developing a Diverse High-Interest Collection project proposal to be presented to the parents and staff as well as administrators at an upcoming meeting. The vision for our school is to develop a culture of reading in which students are longing to read any chance they get in or out of school. It is also to increase the self-selection of reading material by providing access to a diverse print and digital collection. The library's role in helping to achieve this vision is to build up the collection's print and digital resources to include diverse high-interest books and ebooks, along with support reading fluency in English and Spanish by adding resources in multiple formats. We have many different language programs, English as a second language, bilingual, and dual language. Those programs require students to have good quality materials so that they can increase their skills in English and Spanish. What is the impact of having a diverse collection? The more books there are, the more opportunities librarians have of finding outstanding books for young readers and listeners that reflect dimensions of their lives and give a broader understanding of who we are as a nation. It is also when children don't find themselves reflected in books, they are less likely to be engaged in the reading process. Having a diverse collection means that students will be able to find books that have characters that they can relate to, characters that look like them, sound like them, think like them, have experiences that are similar to their own, as well as find books where they can relate to characters who may be a little bit different from them. This would help them increase their worldview and gain a better understanding of others and being more tolerant. Here's an overview of our current resources. This analysis of our inventory was taken at the end of the 2016-2017 school year. On the surface, it looks like that we have a pretty good collection, but as you delve into it a little bit deeper, you will see that even though we have 17 items per book, 17 items per student, the goal is really to have 20 items per student. And the average age of our collection is 2002. This is considered old. A current collection, meeting state standards, is within 5 to 10 years. Only 1% of our collection is digital, which means we have a very small percentage of e-books, electronic books. 28% of our collection is fiction, and the average age of the fiction section is 2004. When we say the average age, that means those books have a copyright date of 2004. So our fiction is limited in diversity, especially when the average age is 2004. We have many books that are older than that do not reflect the students that attend our school. And even though we have well over 2,000 books in Spanish, they are aged as well. Many of them are in poor condition, and they are not engaging. Students only check them out because we have no other Spanish resources available. So to work on building a culture of reading and developing a collection of diverse books, during the 2017-2018 school year, some actions need to be taken. A survey of students and staff about their reading interests and habits. We need to have many staff meetings that discuss the importance of a reading culture. We need to seek guidance from district librarians on ebook collection databases, as well as consult websites for diverse book lists. Some factors for developing a diverse print and digital collection. One of the main factors, of course, is the collection analysis. This tells you what our weaknesses and strengths are, as well as the American Association of School Librarians standards for 21st century learners, And in these standards, it is stressed that students have access to diverse books so that will increase their self-selection of reading materials. We also look at the TEKS expectations for second, third, and fourth, which is where we are focusing on developing the collection. And the expectations for those grade levels is for students to be able to select reading material on their own and read independently for significant lengths of time. We also will look at the district curriculum guides and consider student and staff input. So how are we going to solve the lack of diversity in the collection and increase the culture of reading? We will need to increase the digital resources of the collection by purchasing an e-book collection database. Also, we will need to increase the print collection to include more diverse books that students find engaging, and increase the Spanish and bilingual print and digital resources of the collection. When I say bilingual, I mean books that are in English and in Spanish. They have both languages in the same book. The library has been given a budget of $10,500 to provide resources that will build a culture of reading. So this money will be focused on finding an ebook collection database and purchasing software licenses for it, searching for fiction titles in Spanish and English, as well as Spanish fiction titles on CD, and making sure that these titles are diverse. We also want to make sure that the diversity is in Spanish and English as well. So one of the choices for an ebook collection database is MyON. And after consulting many librarians across the district, this is the database that they really recommend. Students, once they start using it, they fall in love with it, and they really like the accessibility of being able to read at school, read at home, on any kind of device. So MyON is a web-based platform that houses over 6,000 ebook titles in English and Spanish. The 6,000 ebook titles, that's just a starter. You can add other ebook collections if you'd like over time. It can be accessed from any device at any time in any place. MyON is intuitive in that it will track students' reading interests and make recommendations based on what they've read. It has many features that meet the needs of different learners. Among some of the features are highlighting and narration. Along with tracking students' reading, MyON can provide teachers and parents with data, as we will see in this video called Measure Reading with Reading.
Measure reading with reading. Think about it. How we measure reading today is typically by end-of-course tests or state tests. It's often way too late to do anything to adapt and to change and to differentiate any type of instruction of reading. The reality is they might know some content, but we might not have any better information about their reading scores and their reading skills and their engagement. With MyON, we've been thinking about measuring reading with reading. So we've been building new engagement tools for students, for teachers, administrators, and reports around the measurement of reading, not just a quiz score. As an administrator, data is critical for your information and decision making about reading. And as I've asked hundreds of administrators, what would you love to measure about reading? And often what comes to them is, are my kids engaged? Do they love to read? Are they reading? What if we could measure reading by knowing exactly what children are reading, when they're reading, how much they're reading, and how long they're reading? With MyON, that's what we've been focused on, creating a new metric for engagement of reading. Watching their Lexile growth, watching the time they've spent reading, and watching if they've engaged in text. That's the powerful thing about engagement in reading and what we can measure. So I encourage you to keep stopping back to this website and learn more about measuring reading with reading, not quiz.
let me get back to the correct slide. So, as you heard from that video, it's not about quizzes, it's about measuring the actual engagement of the reading. So, along with purchasing Myon, I will be purchasing books, CDs, and additional ebooks from these two companies, Permabound and Lee and Low Books. Lee and Low Books is a book company that specializes in selling diverse books to libraries. So here's the budget allocation. Myon is going to cost $5,465.62. The Lee and Low books that I will order, almost $2,000, and the Permabound books, which will be in English and Spanish, a little over $3,000, which gives us a total of $10,470.92. So where we are within the budget that we have been allotted. Not only does Permabound have the books in English and Spanish, but Lee and Low also provides books in English and in Spanish. This is the plan for our staff. They will participate in a culture of reading discussions based on professional articles and blog posts. They will participate in developing a culture of reading and help to implement the plan. We will create reading cohorts that will implement the campus culture of reading plan, and they will attend a Myon webinar training. Here is the timeline. We will start with staff meetings about the culture of reading mid-October. This has already started. Reading cohorts will be organized, and implementing the culture of reading plan will have begun in November, and we have done so. We will place purchase orders for Myon, Lee and Low Books, and Permabound in November. Right now, we're a little bit behind on that. Once we get the access to Myon, then they will attend a Myon PD webinar in January. When the books arrive, we will process them and create displays to entice the students to pick up books. And also in February, conduct book talks during library visits and on morning announcements. Hopefully by mid-February, students will be trained and well on their way to using Myon consistently. Reading cohorts will have reading displays up and around the building in March. By April, we expect to have an early analysis of the usage of Myon, and then in May, we will start getting feedback and having students and staff complete surveys. This is my presentation for the proposal of the culture of reading, developing a high interest collection.